Anybody requesting to enter the class, kindly let me know. Shall we start the class? So as per spectroscopic classification, we are in discussion about spectroscopic techniques. As per the discussion about classification of spectroscopy, we need to discuss about absorption and emission spectroscopy. Absorption spectroscopy, we have discussed all the techniques like UV visible and atomic absorption spectroscopy, and you have written for your exam also. In emission spectroscopy only we have covered fluorimetric analysis, right? So what will be the next title about emission spectroscopy? That is flame emission spectroscopy. So we have divided what is, may know the classification of spectroscopic technique in absorption and emission. In what way we have classified absorption and emission spectroscopic techniques? Can anyone answer? What are the two techniques? What is the nature of analysis in UV visible spectroscopy, and what is the nature of analysis in atomic absorption?
Absorption and emission.
Yeah, what basis we have divided UV visible and atomic absorption under absorption spectroscopy?
Molecular and atomic.
Yeah, molecular level and atomic. Okay, molecular level spectroscopy is what?
UV visible.
UV visible. Atomic absorption is atomic absorption spectroscopy. Likewise, molecular level emission is
Fluorimetry.
Now let's see about atomic emission. That is called flame photometry itself. Flame photometry. It may be called as, according to IUPAC, a flame atomic emission spectrometry, FAES. According to your syllabus, it is prescribed as flame photometry. It may be called as flame atomic emission spectrometry. Okay, so atomic atoms will emit the radiation, electromagnetic radiation at flame, so that it is called flame atomic emission spectrometry. Since we analyze electromagnetic radiation, it is called as spectrometry. And according to IUPAC, International Union of Pure and Applied Chemistry, it gave this term as FAES, flame atomic emission spectrometry. Simply we will be calling it as flame photometry. Okay. Let's see, according to your syllabus, what are the contents you are going to learn under this topic means theory behind flame photometry, then what is nebulization, then flame and flame temperature. Already regarding structure of flame and temperature of different flames produced from different fuel and oxidants, we have discussed under atomic absorption spectroscopy itself. So for this title, you just refer atomic absorption spectroscopy. And then interferences also we have discussed under atomic absorption spectroscopy, right? So these two titles you need to refer atomic absorption spectroscopy. Remaining titles we'll be discussing under flame photometry. Theory, nebulization, then flame and flame temperature. Interferences you will be referring atomic absorption spectroscopy itself, then flame spectrometric techniques and instrumentation and pharmaceutical applications. These four titles we'll be discussing under flame photometry. Okay. Jackson joined. Okay. So what are the contents? Theory, nebulization, then flame and flame temperature, interferences, flame spectrometric techniques, then instrumentation, pharmaceutical applications. Mostly the common titles under each spectrometry what you will learn means theory, instrumentation and application. And some subtitles which is important to that spectroscopy will be discussed under in all the spectroscopic techniques. You will find theory, instrumentation and application. If theory is also, you need to include applications. If instrumentation is also, you need to include applications. Whatever question it is asked from any titles, you need to include application of that spectrometric techniques. Okay. So with this note, we'll move on to the first heading, that is theory. Theory includes history and theory behind flame photometry. Okay. History. Who introduced this flame photometry means Bunsen and Kirchhoff. Kirchhoff. So picture you can observe Bunsen and Kirchhoff. In the mid of 19th century, they have introduced flame photometry. And according to their analysis, the radiation emitted from the flames depends on the characteristic element present in the flame. So, taking this concept only, they have developed flame photometry. So what they could find, the radiation, that is electromagnetic radiation emitted from the flames, from the flame. Hope you know the structure of flame. It has how many layers? It has flame. What are the different parts of flame? Can anyone say? So, what type of energy we can find in flame? May I get answer from anyone? What is the type of energy associated with flame? Heat. You can say it as thermal energy. Okay, thermal energy. So it will be easy to understand the concept. So thermal energy will be absorbed by the atoms present in the flame, and that will be emitting the radiation energy. So flame is associated with thermal energy, that is high thermal energy. And in that flame, whatever element atom present in the flame will emit the radiation. So this emitted radiation is particular for that particular element. So we'll take that as analytical parameter in flame photometric method. Okay, present in the flame. So element present in the flame is responsible for that radiation produced in the flame. So that will be 1 second. I'm getting a call. Okay, let's continue. So, who discovered then flame photometry? Bunsen and Kirchhoff in 19th century. In the mid of 19th century, it was introduced based on the concept of radiation emitted from the flames depending on the characteristic element present in the flame. Now let's move on to the theory. Here I have given concisely. You can refer your textbooks for brief explanation. If I give all the points, you may not understand. Okay, so only headings and its explanation as a single means concise form I have given. Okay, type of sample analyzed is just a second. So under theory of flame photometry, type of sample analyzed is the species of alkali metals and alkaline earth metals, group 1 and group 2 metals. In the periodic table, I have shown what are the elements present in group 1 and group 2. Already it is given under atomic absorption spectroscopy. So refer for the metals present in group 1 and group 2 in the periodic table. So alkali metals and alkaline earth metals, in the solution form it is analyzed, not in the solid form. In the diluted metallic solution is analyzed. So metals will exist in the salt form. That salt will make it as solution. That solution is analyzed in flame photometry. Okay. So it is group of samples are set here. So in what form it is analyzed? Diluted solution form. So what type of species or elements are analyzed by flame photometry? Alkali metals and alkaline earth metals. Group 1 and group 2 elements. Then what is the source of determination? Like source of light in other spectrometric analysis like fluorimetry and UV visible. Here source of analysis is flame. Even in atomic absorption, we have used a hollow cathode lamp as the source of radiation. But here no source of light is used in flame photometry. Okay, source of light is nil in flame photometry. We are not using any source. Here source for analysis is flame only. Only we'll use flame. No radiation or no lamp is used for getting radiation. From the flame only radiation is produced. Okay, so that radiation is characteristic, means due to the characteristic radiation of element present in the flame. So flame is the source of determination. So hope you know the structure of flame and different temperatures produced by fuel, gas and oxidant. Okay. Let's see about the principle, overall principle of flame photometry. Here what happens actually is absorption of thermal energy and emission of radiation energy occurs. So heat, yes, Subhadashni said, heat is absorbed by the atom, okay, neutral atom in the flame. It will be at a high heat or high thermal energy, or given thermal energy by the fuel and oxidant, and the thermal energy will be absorbed by the atom and it will be emitting as its radiation energy. Thermal energy after absorbed by the atom in the excited state, means the atom will be emitting the radiation to come to the ground state. So this radiation energy is measured as the emitted light in flame photometry. Okay. So emission occurs at atomic level by the electrons present in the atom. So electronic transitions only occurs. About electronic transition, we have discussed under fluorimetric analysis. You should have familiar about how the electrons are existing at singlet ground state and singlet excited state. In the similar manner, electrons present in the atoms also will be opposite spin and paired electrons at ground state, and when it goes to the excited state, means here after absorbing thermal energy, when it goes from ground state to excited state, it becomes means unpaired. It becomes unpaired, but the spin will not be changed. It will be opposite spin. It will be having the electrons will be having opposite spin, but it becomes unpaired. From paired condition to unpaired condition, it will be changing at excited state when the atom moves from ground state to excited state after absorbing thermal energy. And the excited state is what? Unstable state. It has to come to ground state. How it comes to ground state? By emitting this radiation energy. What radiation it is? Electromagnetic radiation. Mostly in flame and fluorimetry, emission radiation will occur in visible range. What is the visible range? What is the range of visible radiation? This calorimetric range is what? Calorimetric radiation, visible radiation to 800 nanometers. So here also atoms will emit in that range only. So So emission of light will be having longer wavelength than the absorbed light. Likewise, here no light is absorbed, thermal energy only is absorbed, but after the atom is excited, then it will be emitting the radiation in colorimetric range from 400 to 800 nanometer. So that is the concept. So electrons only are absorbing the thermal energy, and it is going to excited state where the electrons are present in the atom. So at atomic level only the emission takes place, not in the molecular level. So how atom is produced, atomization. We have already discussed atomization process under atomic absorption spectroscopy. Kindly refer what is atomization, how the atom is formed in flame. Okay. Now let's see the remaining points under theory in the next slide, that is qualitative respect and quantitative respect. In what basis we'll be deducting what element is present in the sample, what type of metal, what type of alkali metal or what type of alkaline earth metal is existed in the sample can be known by using the qualitative respect. So what is the qualitative respect for flame photometry means? Lambda emission. Hope you know what is lambda emission, maximum emission wavelength for an element. Okay, so it is the emitted radiation, maximum emitted radiation. Lambda max will say no, so maximum emitted light, em represents emitted light. So no two elements have same lambda emission, so that only this parameter is taken as qualitative respect. So it will be unique for all the elements. So that by taking this parameter, we can identify what element is present in the sample. Then what is quantitative respect? At that particular lambda emission, if we increase the concentration or decrease the concentration, the concentration will be directly proportional to percentage of flame intensity. Flame intensity will be observed by color change, color intensity of that element. Okay, when it emits radiation, even the flame color will be changed. So by observing the color of the flame itself, we can identify what type of element is present, whether sodium is existing or potassium or whatever element is present, that we can finalize. Okay, so what is the quantitative respect? Quantitative respect is concentration versus percentage flame intensity. Since these two, concentration will give you about what concentration of the element present in the sample. Flame intensity will say about how much quantity is present. Okay, so these both are directly proportional. That's why it is taken as quantitative respect. So by analyzing these parameters, we can find the quantity. By analyzing only lambda emission and comparing with the standard, we can find the what element is existed in the flame. Okay, so this is about the theory behind flame photometry. So what type of sample we are analyzing? Alkali metals and alkaline earth metals. That is group 1 and group 2 metals. In what form we'll be analyzing? Metallic solution form. Diluted metallic solution. Metal will exist as salt form with the samples, any drug molecules or chemicals like sodium chloride. Sodium is existed with chloride ion, some anion. Metals will be usually having positively charged ions. So they will be forming salt with anions. And this salt in the solution form, definitely salt will be dissolved in distilled water. The common solvent in flame photometry used will be distilled water. So definitely it will be soluble in distilled water. Salts will be soluble in water. That's why even some drugs are made as salt form, sodium salts or potassium salts, in order to increase its solubility. You will be reading that in pharmacology, I think so. So in order to increase the solubility, we'll make the drug in form of salt form. So definitely the metals are used to make the drug in soluble manner to increase the solubility. So definitely the metals, that category of drugs can be definitely analyzed by flame photometry. Okay, so that is the main application of flame photometry in drugs analysis. Or whatever the sample is containing metals, we can analyze by this method. in the form of diluted solutions of different concentrations. We can make with a known concentration, we can make calibration curve and we can find out the unknown concentration. Like what quantitative methods we have already discussed under UV visible and fluorimetry, the same calibration curve method and direct comparison methods are used widely for calculating the concentration of unknown sample. So always sample will be compared with standard to find out the concentration of sample at particular lambda emission. So source of determination here is flame. We don't use any source of light in flame photometry like other spectrometric technique. What are the source for a source of light for UV visible, D2 lamp for UV, W lamp, tungsten lamp for visible, likewise fluorimetry, mercury lamp, xenon lamp we have used, and in atomic absorption holocathode lamp we have discussed, but in flame photometry no such lamps are used. Only flame is the source for analysis. And principle, what actual principle occurs? The electrons present in the atom will absorb thermal energy and goes to the excited state, and to come to the ground state it emits its characteristic radiation. Characteristic represents the own characteristic of or own property of that element and to come to ground state. Then what is the based on that emission, what is the qualitative respect, how we can analyze what type of element is present, what type of metal, alkali metal or alkaline earth metal present in the flame, using lambda emission. Lambda emission, that is maximum emitted wavelength for an element. Lambda is what? Wavelength. So usually UV visible radiation is measured with wavelength. The wave property is called as wavelength. So here maximum emitted wavelength is used. Why we have taken this parameter? Since no two elements will have the same lambda emission. Then what is quantitative respect? Once the lambda emission is known, at that lambda emission we can measure different concentration and its percentage flame intensity. When concentration of emitting element is increased, then flame intensity also will be increased. Color will become more intense when concentration will be increased means. That is what the concept is taken for quantitative respect, so that we can analyze unknown sample concentration. What are the methods will be applied for quantitative respect? Mostly calibration curve will be used. Plotting calibration curve with series of standards and then to analyze about or to determine the unknown concentration. That is achieved by calibration curve method. In flame photometry, calibration curve method will be using to get unknown sample concentration. After knowing the concentration, we can find out the amount and percentage purity of that element in the taken sample. So that is the theory, overall theory behind flame photometry. You can observe here the flame photometer, the same flame photometer of Systronics company is found in our lab. Okay. So when you come here, I will give demo and you will be performing an experiment. 2 experiments you have, I think so, and already you should have performed by using flame photometer in medicinal biochemistry to analyze sodium and potassium concentration in the sample. The same instrument is used for other drugs analysis also, or any electrolytes present in the body fluids also can be analyzed by using flame photometer. Here you can find the capillary which will take the sample inside the flame compartment, and this is the flame compartment where the flame is produced by means of fuel and oxidant. Oxidant or air can be used along with fuel in order to produce the flame. So the flame, it is the window where we can view the flame. You can see the flame color, intensity and all through this window. And this is the display will give you percentage flame intensity. So this is about the instrument which is used for obtaining the aim of determining the concentration and lambda emission for an alkali metal or alkaline earth metal samples. Then second part is nebulization. Nebulization is nothing but aspiration of sample into the flame. Let's move on to the nebulization second part. First part we have discussed the theory. It includes history and theory. Second part is nebulization. What is nebulization? Is aspiration of sample into the flame. how the sample is sent to the flame. That is, you can observe in this picture, the sample will be sucked by this capillary and it will be aspirated into the flame. So this process, whole process is called as nebulization. So aspiration is spraying the sample into, using the sample into the flame. So that is called nebulization. And it is said in the schematic representation. So the ions, positive metal ions present in the solution in the salt form, anion and cations represents, for example, if you take sodium chloride, this positive ion represents sodium and negative ion represents chloride. In solution form, salts will exist in ionic form. That's why here it is mentioned with ions. Then the solution is aspirated in the form of aerosol. Aerosol, it will be, aerosol means like droplets, it will be sprayed into the flame, and this process is called aspiration. So that is known as nebulization also, introducing the sample into the flame. And in the flame, what are the process occurs for this salt, sodium chloride, for example, sodium chloride? Vaporization occurs. Vaporization means removal of, evaporation of solvent molecules occurs. If you dissolve in distilled water, then evaporation of water molecules takes place at the flame first. So that process is called vaporization. Then it leaves the molecule, neutral molecule, that is sodium chloride molecules. It will be free from solvent particles. Only sodium chloride neutral molecules will be existing. N represents here neutral. Okay. Neutral represents no ionic form. It is not in ionic form. It is in salt form. Neutral. Sodium chloride, not sodium ion and chloride ion. So neutral molecules. Then at the same temperature, flame temperature, now the sample is in flame. Then occurs thermal dissociation in flame occurs. So the neutral atoms, a neutral molecule will be split into neutral atoms, mainly metallic atom. And this metallic atom, after absorbing, now absorption of heat energy, that is thermal energy, occurs at ground state. The molecules and atoms are in ground state now. When the energy is absorbed, extra energy is absorbed, then the atom goes to the excited state, and the excited state is unstable state, and it emits the radiation as photons. Heat will be converted to photons and in the form of light and comes to the ground state. Neutral atom will come to the ground state, and this emitted light of maximum emission is measured in flame photometry. So this is schematic representation of nebulization process and actual principle behind flame photometry. Okay. So ionic solution, metallic solution is aspirated in the form of aerosol into the flame. In flame, what are the process it undergoes? Vaporization, dissociation, absorption and emission. Five process actually from the sample introduction, that is aspiration, vaporization, dissociation, absorption and emission. Aspiration represents introduction of sample in the form of aerosol into the flame. Vaporization represents evaporation of solvent around the neutral molecules and it leaves neutral molecule. Dissociation represents neutral molecule is converted to atoms, neutral atoms. And absorption represents absorption of thermal energy by the ground state atom. And emission represents emission of radiation by excited atom at excited state to come to the ground state. And this emission is measured in, emission of radiation is measured in flame photometry. Hope you are clear about this. And the third part is flame and flame temperature. For this you need to refer atomic absorption topic. Okay. So with this we'll complete today's class. In the next class we'll discuss about instrumentation and application of flame photometry. Okay. Is there any doubt? Since already you have studied atomic absorption spectroscopy, it will be easy only to understand the concept. So what are the steps involved in flame emission? Aspiration, the metallic solution will be aspirated. Aspiration, vaporization, dissociation, absorption, emission. 5 processes that you have to remember. Then you can easily write the concept, whatever sample you take, the same concept is applicable. Okay, thank you. Soon I will evaluate your sessional papers and will give you. Only 9 members are present. Okay, let me mark your attendance. Just wait, don't leave. Let me mark your attendance. One by one say present and you can leave the class if you don't have any doubt. Akarshna.
Present, ma'am.
Okay, next you can say your name, say present and you can leave.
Jackson present, ma'am.
Okay.
Bharat present, ma'am.
Okay.
Monisha present, ma'am.
Okay, pa.
Padmapriya present, ma'am.
Priya. Okay. Johnson. Akarshna.
Ma'am, baby Karthi was attending, ma'am.
Yeah, she was there. I could see, but she has left. I think so.
Yes, ma'am. She
Okay.
told me inform.
Okay. 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 Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Johnson. Present. Oh, only 7 members have given attendance. What about others? Rubish and Jacqueline absent. Okay, thank you. We'll leave the meeting.